Welcome to the Low Country Revolutionaries, the podcast that dives deep into the heart of Charleston, South Carolina's vibrant entrepreneurial scene. I'm your host, Bill Bellott, founder of Veritas Exercise, and each week we're spotlighting the boldest innovators from the Chucktown startup community. These are the visionaries pouring their heart and soul into the businesses that are transferring Charleston into a global hub of creativity and American ingenuity. Get ready for raw, real conversations with the trailblazers shaping our city's future. Let's dive in. I'd like to welcome Bruno Kretzschmar. He's the executive director of Apex Volleyball. They offer travel club teams technical training and recruiting service to the Greater Charleston Area out of the Apex headquarters, which is a 6-court facility in North Charleston. Welcome, Bruno. How you doing?
Hey, Bill. Thank you for having me. I'm doing well.
So, Bruno, you're the first kind of professional volleyball player I've ever met. So, thank you for that. You give me a first here in my life here. So, how did you get into volleyball? Tell me a little bit. I know you told me a little bit before the recording, but let's tell everybody else. How did you get into volleyball?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just start off by saying you're the first podcaster that I've got the pleasure to meet. So, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Well, I am from Brazil, and when you talk about Brazil, you think of soccer first and foremost. But volleyball has grown big time in Brazil in the last couple of decades. And 2 decades ago, I was 10 years old. So
wow.
It was the right time that it became big, and I was growing up. Getting to be a teenager, and in Brazil, depending on the school, you typically pick a sport for PE class. So I was in middle school. I was 13, and me and my group of friends, decided to choose volleyball, and it was kind of an immediate love.
Oh, cool!
Developed. I've always been taller than average, especially for the Brazilian population. So, I was 13. I was already probably nearing 6 feet tall.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, the teacher, he was also a former volleyball player. He was a volleyball coach for the school, but for the town, for different teams, and he was just a combination of factors that made it work. So I picked it up at 13. Really got into it. I played for middle school, high school, club as well in Brazil. And then my last year of high school, that's when we had somebody come in and talk to us about studying abroad and obtaining scholarships through athletics.
Right.
And at that time, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life except for playing volleyball. So it just clicked for me at that point, and then I put all my effort into making it happen.
Yeah.
And then I came to America. I got my degree, kept playing throughout college, all 4 years, and then once I was getting to graduate with my undergraduate degree, I decided that I was still not done, and then I went on to play in the UK for a year. I played in Israel for a year as well before coming back to America. Yeah.
Yeah. Where in America did you come first? Where were you in America where you were going to college? Was it here or somewhere else?
It was in the upstate of South Carolina.
Okay.
A college called Limestone.
Okay.
Which unfortunately has shut down since then. Yeah, but it's in Gaffney, South Carolina, which is right in between Spartanburg and Charlotte.
Okay.
So that was my first exposure to the United States.
Yeah, that was probably maybe a bit different environment than what you were used to in Brazil, because you said you're from like the southern part of Brazil, right?
Yes, that's correct. It was very different and interesting to say the least.
Now, where in the UK did you go? I have a friend. He's from the Manchester area of UK. So where were you in UK?
I was actually in the northeast
Okay.
of England, a town called Durham,
Okay.
which is 15 minutes south of Newcastle, an
Okay.
hour south of the Scottish border. So
Yeah.
it was a great time that I had there.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I've been close to that area. That's the my friend. He's from the Preston, England area, which is up getting up there into that kind of region. It's a lot of countryside and everything, very beautiful and everything. So
Yeah, yeah,
so England, and then back to the states. After no Israel. So you were in Israel. I don't know a
that's
lot.
right.
I don't know a lot about Israel. Where were you, near like Jerusalem or another part of Israel? Where were you?
Well, I was it's away from the Gaza border.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
That was
that
must have been
was
exciting.
that's one way of describing it for sure.
Yeah.
It was a very challenging year of my life.
Yeah.
It was, among all things, it was a very fulfilling year because it was technically the first year where I played volleyball for a living and
Oh
for
wow.
volleyball only. So uh, I was on my own, but I was doing what I had dreamed of doing my entire life since I started playing volleyball. But that said, there were many challenges that came with it. One being where I was.
Right.
And if you don't know Israel all that much, it's a very there's a lot of cultures in Israel, despite being,
Right.
religiously um, all the same. But I was in the region 20 minutes from the Gaza border, and a lot of former Soviet
Oh wow.
citizens, a lot of immigrants from the old Soviet Union. So um, the first language where I lived wasn't even Hebrew; it was Russian.
Wow.
And there was a lot of cultural shock
Yeah.
for me, and just getting along with people, and
Right.
you know, so it was quite difficult. The level of play and the conditions that I lived in weren't the best.
Yeah.
So that kind of put a strain, on you mentally,
Right.
psychologically.
Right.
Um, and then of course, there's the fact that Gaza is right there, and
There's
there
always
was
something
one.
going on, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there's always something going on. There was one night I remember I had been there for maybe a couple months, not even, and there was hundreds of rockets
Oh,
shot at us.
yeah.
So that was the first time I really experienced something like that. And I hate to say it, but after that, you kind of get desensitized to the whole thing,
Oh
and
yeah.
you just learn how to deal with it. But it's a beautiful country,
Okay.
amazing, amazing food and
Yeah.
weather,
Yeah.
and terrific views and sight views. And you have Jerusalem, the old city, and you have the Dead Sea,
Right.
and all the deserts. And it was, scenically, I don't think it could have been any better.
That's nice. Yeah, maybe someday I'll get a chance to do that. So, you've gone through all these things, and you've had this incredible experiences in three different countries besides where you were born. So you're back here in Charleston, and you're running Apex Volleyball. So what made you think? Come, let's go back to Charleston, and we're gonna make world class volleyball here. How did you
Yeah,
come about that one?
yeah, that's a great question. You would think after my background, it would have come naturally like that, but came back to America and Charleston in 2019.
hmm
I had back in college met my now wife,
Oh,
and
cool.
we had started dating then, of course, and throughout college and living abroad, we continued to date and got engaged. And then ultimately, the plan was for us to, start a life together
Right.
here in the U.S. And she had lived in Charleston, Mount Pleasant most of her life.
Oh, okay.
So this is kind of, not kind of, but really the reason why
Yeah,
we ended up here.
that's a great reason.
Um,
Family's a great reason to be in this area.
correct. And plus, I had already visited Charleston in the past,
Yeah,
and I had fell in love with the city.
yeah,
But then, I came back, and in professional sports, you can't really afford to have um, a bad season and bad performances. And my experience in Israel was such that it just made it really hard for me to um, get hired somewhere else.
right.
And I came back, and I was still looking, through an agent and through the right means, but it just didn't pan out for me. So I kind of kissed goodbye to my career as a professional athlete,
Right.
and consequently to volleyball, and just entered the workforce, and moved on with life. Um, we moved away from Charleston for a year,
Yeah.
then came back in 2022.
Okay.
And then that's when things start happening. Boys volleyball, which is not very common
Right.
around here, especially in the East Coast,
Right.
became sanctioned at the high school level.
Oh, cool.
And just through my network and my wife's network, um, I came to find out that Wando High School was looking for a boys volleyball coach, and I took that job,
Yeah.
thinking that it would be great to be the first ever boys volleyball coach for
Right.
one of the largest and most successful high schools in the state. And then everything started happening very fast after that. I learned that got my love for volleyball got rekindled, and I started developing relationships with these young athletes and young
Right.
men that I didn't know that were so important to me,
Right.
so fulfilling. And I started to see real change,
Yeah.
right in front of my eyes. And I felt like probably what I was do after all.
Right.
So from coaching high school, it was natural progression to start something else, not just for boys but for girls as well. I've got to meet my now business partner Bettina Woodman through that as well, and we hit it off, and we stand for similar things and have
Oh, great.
similar philosophy. And we decided to jump the gun and dive head in first
Right.
into
Right.
this world, and now we're looking at ourselves. We have a 30,000 square foot facility. We
Yeah.
have over 200 athletes that we are caring for, and one of the largest clubs in the state already, and we're 19 months in. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's
it's
rapid.
been a lot.
Rapido. Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, that's really crazy. I mean, 19 months in, and you guys got 200 athletes and this huge 20,000 square foot facility. That's really quick. So, what are your kind of goals for this? Are you trying to get volleyball in the different high schools across the region, or is it something bigger than that? I mean, I know you got like club teams and all that kind of stuff, but what are you guys trying to? I know you've got a lot going on, but what are you trying to focus on right now?
Yeah, I think focus has always been one, which is sending kids to play in college,
Okay.
like we once did. We um, it's for most of us, that had a similar path as myself. Start playing a sport,
All right.
decided that they wanted to play in college, went ahead and actually did that. It become a dream of yours, and we just want to see that dream materialize for others as well.
Right.
But not only that, but teaching them how to be well-rounded players, athletes, and individuals.
Nice.
So that's something we felt like was missing
Yeah.
where we live at, and that's our goal. We just want to, not that we only cater to those types of athletes it's not that by any means. We want to grow and we want to cater to everybody, and we do.
Yeah.
But that's kind of our bread and butter. You
Cool.
have young athletes working to be the top of their class, if you will, and
Yep.
get somewhere, get a better life for themselves through this athletics.
Yeah.
And that's what we focus on.
That's amazing. So what age range do you guys kind of train?
We train everybody. Our travel teams, we have, for our travel teams, and we're talking about 21 teams, we
Yeah.
have girls as young as 11,
Okay.
10, 11. Boys they're starting a little bit later on. So we have like 13, 14-year-old boys,
Okay.
ranging all the way up to 18,
Okay.
so last year of high school. But we also have athletes of all ages in our gym. We have 4-year-olds coming in.
Really?
And yeah, and I can't believe it myself. And I see them in our gym and I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had 4-year-olds and we've had all the way up to seniors as well.
Okay. So you guys have a full gym facility, so you kind of cater a little bit to people outside of volleyball too, it sounds like.
Yeah, not in our first year. In our first year, we didn't have the room to do that.
Yeah.
We didn't expect that we would come out right off the gate and be
Right.
booked
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And, thankfully that's what happened. So first year we had 8,000 square feet, 2 courts.
Right.
Um, and we were very grateful that the community that we have bought in and, really believed in us.
Yeah.
And then for our second year, then we decided to double down or triple down and get a facility 3 times as big as that. So our goal now, in terms of growth, is to cater to other sports as well. We have space to have basketball in there. We have space to do futsal in there.
Cool.
We have a weight training space. We can do, wrestling there as long as we have the mats. So,
Right.
we're planning to do day camps over the summer. So
Wow.
that's our ultimate plan to, expand beyond volleyball as well.
That's great. And you were talking a little bit about earlier about helping prepare athletes to go to colleges. Do you guys have like some relationships with colleges that have volleyball teams, or is that something you guys are kind of building right now?
Well, it's both, right? Because that's one of the things that has really made us successful. Our staff comprised of highly expert and connected individuals.
Right.
So myself, I played in college and professionally. My partner Bettina, she played in college. 90% of our coaches has played in college.
Okay, so you got their connection right away.
Yeah, we have our connections, and then we have their connections, and then their connections have their connections.
Right.
So in a way, my wife, she's also a college coach. So
Okay.
We have these connections, and we have no problem reaching out to them about, hey, come to a camp of ours or watch this player, or if somebody reaches out to them, we can provide some background on those athletes as well.
Right.
So that's not to say that we don't continue to develop more relationships, because we do.
Right.
But that has, just helped us scale that much quicker because we already had some of that in place.
Right.
Plus, we have, other structure around it with software and other tools.
Oh, great.
To expand that reach when we don't know, when we don't have the network to.
Right. Right. I know, like in baseball, like they collect a lot of the coaches and and clubs and stuff, they collect a lot of statistics and stuff about each of the kids as they're developing through their time. And then, that's often traded with the colleges or other places that are looking to, clubs that are looking to recruit them. Do you guys do something similar to that in volleyball? Or is there certain types of data you're collecting on your players so they can present themselves to either a club or a college or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of what we offer.
Oh, cool.
When you signed up for one of our teams, we provide a one include everything price, and within that price there is the software and the ability to put films together and collect
film clips and
stats
stuff.
and so all of that, players 15, 16 and up, which is their recruitable age, they have access to that.
That's amazing.
At Apex.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to ask, have you had any players go from your facility? It's only been 19 months, so I'm putting you under a little pressure, but have any players gone from your place into college or to a professional volleyball place yet?
Yeah, and that's an excellent question. It is only been one season.
Yeah.
But we've had, between girls and boys, 13 athletes to commit to different schools, that being D1, Division 2, 3, and AIA. So 13, which is what I believe to be a number that is, largest than most other clubs in our state.
Yeah.
So, and we're happy, and we know that is not our credit to take, and we don't do that. We try not to do that, but we like to think that we've played an important role in helping them get there.
Yes,
as well.
Of course, and I'm sure they would say that too. It's like you guys were a part of helping me to be able to get to these places. So yeah, and I assume at some point down the journey, a lot of these players will come back and either come maybe even work for you or just check back in and kind of tell you what's happened since they left.
Yeah, no, that's a great point as well, because that's a part of our cycle, really. When you are graduating these well-rounded athletes that go or don't go play at the next level, so we know that we've trained them. We know what kind of knowledge and experience they have, and we'll always have a need for coaches. As long as we're growing and expanding, we always have a need for staff that is knowledgeable about what we do. And that becomes, once our client, our customer, then becomes somebody that we are now pulling from the market to hopefully work for us. So we always try to develop good relationships, with everyone for that reason. We have so many high school kids that play for us.
Yeah.
And then in the summer, we're going to have all these camps.
Oh, nice.
That we need workers for, and who's better than a high school kid that is now that doesn't have any responsibilities over the summer and is looking for a job. So it's very, it's very synergetic like that.
That's great. I mean, this has been really super, Bruno. I'm super excited about this. I'm going to talk to my son who's teenager and now say, hey, maybe you ought to think about volleyball, buddy. So yeah, this is awesome. So what I have to ask, you've been on this journey, very rapid growth and everything. What advice would you have for other entrepreneurs out there in the low country area?
Yeah, it has been very rapid, as you say. I think the reason it's been so rapid, it's because there have been many things we've done right.
Yeah.
I think probably what the best thing for us has been the fact that we are surrounded by very qualified individuals. Mm-hmm. Club sports is a very personal business.
Right.
We're talking about handling, for lack of a better word, people's most important asset, which is their children, right?
Right.
So, and not only that, but we're talking about now helping children with their dreams.
Right.
So it gets very personal. Because of that, you need to have the right people in place. So our staff has been amazing. The more we need to get done, the more we need to trust them, the more that they deliver to us. These are individuals that know the sport with in the back of their hands, and they're so committed to the new generation that it gets me inspired to go in and do more every day. So I don't have to worry about micromanaging or getting things done myself, because
Right.
I know that as somebody is taking that role, and they don't have any ownership in the business. They don't have their name is only attached to the role that they have,
Right.
but still it's something that has been so important to us. So I'd say that, that's my piece of advice for today. You need to make sure that you invest some time in hiring the right people.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets easier if you're already in the industry and the right people and you have the connections, which was our case. We already knew a lot of these coaches and staff. But if you don't have those, then you probably need to go out there and start making some connections.
Yeah, and I've heard a similar sentiment from others in areas. Making connections, especially in the Charleston Low Country area, is very important to growing your business. So I think that's excellent advice, and I really appreciate your time. I loved learning all about this and learning about your journey in volleyball. I'm excited that you're bringing this expertise to the Charleston area. I'm thinking it's going to be a great place to grow, and who knows, maybe someday you'll have franchises all around the U.S., and there'll be this giant volleyball team for the United States going forward. So that's great.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Bill. I hope so. May your words come true. And I'd say, to your son or to any others out there considering volleyball, it's a great time for male athletes to get involved with volleyball.
Yeah.
It's spreading like wild. Well, for girls as well. It's the most popular sport among girls in the U.S. But for boys, it's spreading like wildfire. It's the fastest growing sport at the NCAA level. So there are plenty of opportunities out there right now. There are programs popping out every corner. So if you are somebody who is athletic and you feel like you want to be involved with sports, or if you have a child that you think should be involved with sports, and looking for a scholarship, then I'd say, you ought to look at volleyball. It's especially, like I said, for young males, it's growing and there's plenty of opportunity around.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Bruno. It's been a pleasure to talk to you today, and I wish you the very best.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Bill.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Low Country Revolutionaries. Thanks for joining us as we celebrate the fearless entrepreneurs making wave in Charleston's Chucktown Startups community. I'm Bill Bellot, and it's been an honor to share these inspiring stories with you. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs a spark of low country innovation. Until next time, keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.